Hello, and welcome back to the U.S. History Podcast. Today, we'll be honoring one of the most underappreciated heroes of the American Revolution. That man is the legendary Colonel Todd. Before we go any further, unless you have paid for the subscription, you will only be viewing 5 minutes of this interview. Join or die.
But in search of freedom, friends become foes, and these new Americans will wage a war against the world's greatest military power. We are pioneers and trailblazers. We fight for freedom.
Wow, I can't believe it. I'm on Zoom with the real Colonel Todd.
Nice to meet you. I'm just happy I'm gaining recognition that I hadn't gotten in decades.
Wow, so our podcast has so many questions to ask you. But to start, I think we're all wondering, why did you join the British Army instead of the Patriots?
Well, that question is a no-brainer. As a slave, I worked under John Corliss, and he treated me and my family terribly. Every morning, I would wake up to the bloody screams of someone getting beaten by their master overseer. And as for me, I have many scars on my back from all the whips and wooden sticks that the master and overseer used to beat me.
That's terrible. So how did you gain freedom from him?
Well, it all started when news across Shrewsbury spread of a proclamation that any slave who joined the British would get their freedom. And I couldn't stand that life that I had to live as a slave. And as such, I was willing to do whatever it took to gain freedom. And against all odds, I managed to escape the plantation and reached a British camp where me, along with 300 others as well, and we started our lives as a British soldier.
Wait, hold on a second. We're getting news that field interviewer Adib just spotted John Corliss on the scene.
John Corliss, why didn't you let Titus be free even though he was 21? Aren't you a Quaker? Quakers are supposed to be good people who believe that everyone are equal.
Whoa, you're asking way too many questions way too fast. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, let me make this simple. Why are you a terrible person?
I'm not a terrible person. I just understand how the economy works. It's based off slavery. If you want that money, you gotta do what has to be done.
What's your reaction to Titus escaping from slavery?
It's Titus. I had no clue he was gonna run away. The only thing he did is argue about his enslavement. If anyone finds him, I'll give you 3 pounds of proclamation money right now.
All right, that's enough out of you.
Gosh, we don't get to interview crazy people very often, so that was quite interesting.
Interesting? By interesting, you mean that I wanted to skewer him with a bayonet.
Skewer him with a bayonet? That seems like a lot, but considering how awful a person he was, it does make a bit of sense. But moving on, it probably wasn't easy for you to have to leave behind your family. So why did you change your name from Titus to Todd?
Well, I wanted to take on a new identity. My old identity reminded me too much of my terrible life as a slave, and I wanted to embrace freedom. And so I decided to change my name from Titus to Ty. And this was around the time I joined the Ethiopian regiment.
That makes a lot of sense. You were notorious for your guerrilla warfare tactics, but what exactly is guerrilla warfare?
The way I like to think about guerrilla warfare is I am given a small unit of soldiers by the British, and I am essentially given free rein to do whatever I wanted with the British soldiers that are given to me. And whether it be raiding camps or settlement or setting off traps to confuse the Patriots and overwhelm them, I would do whatever it takes to achieve victory by means of guerrilla warfare.
I don't know any other way to put it, but that just sounds bad. This must have gotten you some sort of recognition.
It did. In 1799, I was given the title Colonel of the Black Brigade. I led the group of 24 ruthless Black loyalists, and we were stationed on a British naval base near Sandy Hook Lighthouse. That was perhaps the highlight of my war because we suffered almost no losses through the entire time. And yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much for answering all these questions. I'm so grateful that you took the time to come on here and share with all of us at the podcast. Hopefully we can speak again.
Thank you.